Hello there, you're here on Culture Mosaic for an insight into the rich diversity of the cultural scene here in Vietnam. In this week's edition, we'll get a chance to learn more about how a festival in Tuyên Quang is celebrating the values of one of Vietnam's folk religions. On the mic this week then is a soprano singer hailing all the way from Canada as she comes to perform here in the country. Later on, we'll get a chance to discover Hội An, recently discovered as one of the culinary capitals of Vietnam. A festival that promotes the Mother Goddess religion. A talk with Canada international acclaimed vocalist Melanie Gall on her performance in Vietnam. And later on, Taste of the World in Hội An town. After the blockbuster Kong Skull Island hit the big screen, domestic and foreign travel companies simultaneously launched tours to Vietnam, where many scenes were filmed. The Department of Tourism in Quang Binh Province has been preparing tours to filming locations in Quang Binh in order to attract more visitors. They have successfully negotiated with the film crew in order to build 3 statues of the arm of Kong at 3 filming locations, which are in Phu Lake, Tan Noi Valley, and Chuột Cave in Minh Hoa District of Quang Binh Province. The local authorities will also sign a contract with TripAdvisor in order to promote the local tourism industry. Quang Binh expects to welcome more than 3 million visitors this year. Holi, the Indian Festival of Colors, was held in Hanoi on Sunday, March 20th. The event, hosted by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism and the Indian Business Chamber in Vietnam, attracted the participation of nearly 1,000 people of different nationalities. In its 3rd year, the Holi Festival in Hanoi this year saw a 20% rise in participants compared to last year. The Holi Festival is famous for paint-throwing revelers showering each other with colors, representing a tradition that is both meant to reflect the rainbow of colors associated with springtime and the playfulness of the Hindu god Vishnu. Currently, there are 600 Indians living in Hanoi. A documentary entitled The Story of Yesterday was released in Hanoi in commemoration of singer Trần Lập, leader of the rock band Bức Tường or The Wall. The documentary covers 20 years of Bức Tường, starting from when they were still young students. After many ups and downs, The Wall eventually made its way into the hearts and minds of Vietnamese people. The event is also helping to raise charity funds for cancer children at the K. Vân Chiêu Hospital in Hanoi. Dạ Cổ Hoài Lang, or translated roughly as Night Drum Beats Causes Longing for Absent Husband, is one of the most famous songs of the Southern folk cải lương singing genre. Dạ Cổ Hoài Lang is also the name of the theatrical drama that took Ho Chi Minh City by storm, with thousands of performances. Now, after 20 years, the story of Dạ Cổ Hoài Lang has come to the big screen for the first time.
The story Dạ Cổ Hoài Lang happens during a snowstorm in the United States in 1990s. 2 old men, Tư Lành and Nam Chiêu, are both best friends and love rivals. Both of them stay with their children in the United States, but both are put into nursing house. They meet on the death anniversary of Tư Lành wife.
Thế mạnh của vở kịch này, nó là cảm xúc, nó là cái gì đó thuộc về bên trong. Thì nếu mà đánh mất cái đó thì bộ phim sẽ vô nghĩa.
From there, generational conflicts and cultural collisions begin to arise. The great success of the theatrical drama of the same name poses a challenge for the filmmakers when they decided to adapt the script. Shot over 2 years, the film may impress audiences with scenes that evoke emotional responses, especially an outdoor scene shot at minus 20 degrees Celsius, when the crew had to work continuously from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. the next day.
Tôi nghĩ rằng không có gì mà chiến thắng được với những cái ký ức đẹp. Bản thân tôi cũng vậy, 20 năm trước khi mà tôi nhớ lại cái cảm xúc đó thì cũng khó có gì phai nhòa và nó là một cái gì đó vì ký ức nó rất là thiêng liêng. Với tôi đặt mình là một cái người trẻ nhìn về cái câu chuyện đó, sự chia sẻ của người trẻ dành cho hai ông già.
Over the past 2 decades, the value of love and compassion for the homeland that the theme conveys is never out of date.
Lễ tế xã Tắc or xã Tắc worship ceremony was held in Thừa Thiên Huế province in the early morning of Wednesday. The ceremony used to be a national celebration under the Nguyễn dynasty in the former royal capital city of Huế and has been reenacted since 2008.
Lễ tế xã Tắc, worshipping for the genies of rice and soil, was the most important rituals performed by kings of successive feudal dynasties every spring to pray for abundant crops and peace. The event was held in the early morning of Wednesdays, considered the best time to conduct the most important parts of the ritual. The xã Tắc worship platform in Huế City, which was built in 1806 under the reign of King Gia Long and was restored in 2008, is the only one of its kind that has remained intact in the country, according to Phan Thanh Hải, director of the Huế Relics Conservation Center.
Lễ tế xã Tắc thì chúng ta có cơ hội để phục hồi và trình diễn các cái nghi thức theo cái phong cách truyền thống, theo cái nghi lễ cung đình mà đến nay thì có lẽ là rất khó có nơi nào có cơ hội phục hồi được.
The ceremony has been reenacted several times since 2008 at the biannual Huế Festival, with a local actor performing the role of king. Through the event, people pray for happiness and prosperity in life.
Chúng ta cũng tạo ra một cái môi trường diễn xướng nữa cho các cái loại hình như từ âm nhạc đến các cái nghi thức, tất cả các cái dụng cụ liên quan. Cái điều nó cũng trên một cái khía cạnh văn hóa nó hết sức quan trọng, bởi vì nó giúp cho người thế hệ đời nay và đặc biệt là thế hệ trẻ hiểu được cái nghi thức truyền thống của ông cha mình đã từng làm như thế nào.
The xã Tắc worship ceremony is held every year to not only restore and preserve the traditional and spiritual rituals of Huế, but also to promote the culture of wet rice civilization, particularly in Vietnam.
The worship of the mother goddesses is a popular belief in the folk culture of the Vietnamese people, especially in the northern region of the country, and Tuyên Quang City is no exception. The belief has played an important role in the local people's spiritual life, with several festivals held across the locality, helping to promote the belief among the community and to foreign visitors. We'll get a chance now to learn more about Mother Goddess worshipping in Tuyên Quang City in this week's Corner of Culture and Lifestyle.
Tuyên Quang lies on the banks of the Low River. It is known as the land of Mother Goddess worshipping, as 12 of its 14 temples are dedicated to the belief. Mother Goddess worshipping has played an important role in the local people's spiritual lives for a very long time, as it's closely connected to their habitat and conception.
Tuyên Quang thì được coi như là thờ mẫu thải, mà mẫu thải thì là mẹ nước, và Tuyên Quang thì gắn với vùng sông nước, nước từ sinh sôi vạn vật. Cũng là trong cái văn hóa của người Việt, đáp ứng cái nhu cầu tâm linh của bà con là mong mưa thuận gió hòa, trong mùa màng bội thu, dân khang vật thịnh và mọi người đều ấm no hạnh phúc.
The worship of the water Mother Goddess is the oldest belief in Vietnam. The worship in Tuyên Quang is the most outstanding one throughout the country, and the Rước Mẫu, or Mother Goddess Procession Festival, is also the biggest festival of the year in the city. It is held from the 10th to the 16th of the second lunar month.
There are many kinds of festivals in Vietnam, and such festival of honoring Mother Goddesses has been playing as a vital role in the spiritual life of Vietnamese people. And it has also attracted many more visitors, especially from abroad, helping them understand more about the culture of Vietnam.
This is the first time Marcus van Asveld has had the chance to experience Mother Goddess worshipping. For such an outsider, it is strange but at the same time interesting to get a close look into Vietnamese culture.
I think Vietnamese culture is truly something so amazing and complex. As an outsider, I cannot understand the depth of the culture. I mean, it is so old, thousands of years. This culture has evolved and evolved until now it has become something that is so beautiful and refined and complex, and it has so much meaning. It is truly an honor to be part of this ceremony.
During the festival this year, both locals and visitors had an opportunity to have a deeper understanding about history, customs, and the practice of Mother Goddess belief through a workshop. Their eyes were treated with a runway of colorful costumes, as well as a show featuring the practice.
Nó gần như là nghệ thuật tổng hợp. Nó có cả âm nhạc, chúng ta đã biết chầu văn rất nổi tiếng, rất hay rồi. Thế rồi nghệ thuật múa, nghệ thuật diễn sướng, nghệ thuật cùng với các bài là ca từ, gần như nghệ thuật ngôn từ. Cho nên ngay cả trang phục cũng thế, là một mảng nghệ thuật tạo hình nổi tiếng của đạo mẫu. Vì thế mà khi đạo mẫu thực hành thì tất cả các cái nghệ thuật này đều được thăng hoa lên. Mà thăng hoa trong cái không khí của người xuất thần thì nghệ thuật càng nổi bật lên, mà rất khó có nghệ thuật nào sánh được như vậy.
The worship of the Mother Goddesses, especially the one in Chatterwater, contains moral and humane values. It reminds locals of their origin. It is priceless and intangible treasure that possesses great spiritual values for the residents in the city.
You're tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So do join us in this journey through various cultural scenes here in Vietnam, as we have a lot more coming up in this week's installment for you in just a moment. In celebration of Le Mois de la Francophonie and Canada's 150th anniversary of Confederation, the Canadian Embassy in Vietnam invited Canadian soprano Melanie Gall, an international acclaimed vocalist and world-renowned performer, to Vietnam. Melanie impressed audiences of all ages with her charm and lively characteristic, and attracted younger audiences with her famous opera Mouse performance. Now we'll get a chance to learn more about Melanie in this week's edition of On the Mic.
Ne me quitte pas, or don't leave me. Au bal de la chance, or at the party of chance. Un Canadien errant, or wandering Canadian. La vie en rose, or life in pink. Classical French opera songs performed in a youthful style and with funny interpretations. Melanie Gall's melodious opera voice conquered Vietnamese and international audiences with a performance at the Vietnam National Academy of Music.
It's really great. I mean, the singer, her voice is beautiful, and the pianist, her skills really good as well. And the singer is really friendly, and she introduced a lot about Canada, and I feel like Canada has become more closer to me, so I feel that I understand more about Canada.
The singer was really friendly too. She really engaged with the audience. I think we all had fun.
We wanted to show someone who was trained as an opera singer classically, but presented in a more modern way. You know, it's a very Canadian way. She sang music that was from France, is from Belgium, but it's with a Canadian spin. You see her, you see yourself how dynamic she was, how she reached out to the audience, and how she was making jokes, having fun. And I think that's the image we have of the one of the faces of Canada.
Wedding ring, now you're sitting with your knitting by the fire at home. You knit so tenderly for that little angel in our nursery. That little angel in our nursery.
Hi Melanie, thanks for joining our show. Can you share a bit of your journey of how you become an opera singer?
Sure. When I was a child, I liked all sorts of music, and then I saw a sign for auditions for the opera in Edmonton, beside the city where I grew up, and I auditioned to be in the opera, to be in Carmen, and so that was my first time in an opera chorus. I was in the opera with several adults, and it was my first time being in a full professional opera, and I was 16, and when I finished it, I knew that singing and music was what I wanted to do, so then I went to school in opera after that.
That's how it should sound. That's beautiful.
Con cảm thấy là mình rất là sung sướng khi được học một người nổi tiếng ở trong ngành opera. Con đã học được về cái cách mà cô ấy hát, về cách mà như nào để cô ấy hát to lên, như nào để cô ấy hát giữ được âm và như nào để cô ấy hát hay ạ, hát rộng rãi thanh.
Sau buổi học này, con cảm thấy mình học hỏi được rất nhiều điều về cách hát opera.
I could see that you work really well with children. Can you share a bit about how you could work so well with children?
Yeah, I love kids, and especially with opera, the audience is getting older, and if new people don't consider opera something that's important to them, the art form could die. So we need a younger audience coming in to opera, and I think the problem is now there are so many kinds of music out there. Young people are thinking that opera is something that's not for them, or but opera is such a globally encompassing tradition in its different way. I think that it's important that kids embrace that and that they're not afraid of it.
Do you think all opera singers have started to grow? And they grew.
In addition to singing opera, Melanie is also known for Opera Mouse, a show for children that uses puppets and introduces opera singing to children. She has performed Opera Mouse for thousands of children in Canada, Scotland, Sudan, Chad, Algeria, and Morocco. In Vietnam, she spent time with students at a school in Hanoi. Learning about opera may seem challenging for children, but through her characters like the ostrich and the mouse, opera becomes more easy to understand. What is Opera Mouse? Can you share a bit about Opera Mouse? How has the children's reaction to Opera Mouse?
And the show started in 2013. I was touring Canada with a show for adults, and I watched a lot of the kids shows, and I thought all the kids performers are having so much fun. I want to do a kids show. So I talked to a friend of mine. He's from South Africa. He has a children's show about South Africa stories. And I wrote this, and we worked together on it, and then I did the show, and then I did it some more, and then I started doing it in England, and then in Africa and South America, and now I'm doing it here. So it seems to be a show that goes over well with children. I've done it in a shopping mall in Algeria. I've done it in an orphanage in Morocco. Just, it doesn't seem to matter where I do Opera Mouse. Kids still like it, and they sing along.
Yes, so if there's a recommendation...
We've heard Melanie's amazing voice, but what are her tips for better singing? Let's find out on our private tutorial with Melanie.
I'd say the most important thing is listen to. So this is a quick lesson about how to sing and breathe a little better, okay? So when you put your hands on your hip like this, and when you breathe, you can feel, if you watch closely, your ribs go out like this. See out the side?
Yes.
And usually you breathe and then people immediately relax. But when you're singing, you need to breathe and you keep your ribs out. So you feel you're pushing them out with your muscles? And so once it's out, so try it again, take a deep breath, keep your ribs out and sing like this. Ready? Try, take a breath. Now feel the voice coming from all the way down here, not just your throat, and relax your tongue. Just make sure it's not tight, and try and do more of an aw. So try it again. Ready? That's really good.
Does it require a lot of practice to be able to like open it inside?
No, it requires practice to not think about it. That's really, for singing, it's not about getting it right after a lot of practice. It's about doing it so you can work on other things like dancing on stage or puppets. And so when I sing, I don't think about the technique at all. It just happens.
Yes. Thank you, Melanie, so much for your
Sure.
sharing. And I hope you the best for your future career and your journey ahead.
Thank you so much.
According to Lonely Planet and many other prestigious tourism websites, Hội An, a small town in Guangdong Central Province, is known as a food paradise for both local and foreign tourists alike. This lovely town is also the international chef's favorite destination, a place where they can easily find their own essence from a variety of flavors, it is said. Recently, Hội An was officially recognized, as we said, as one of Vietnam's food capitals, marking a significant milestone for its cuisine and tourism promotion to the world. In our Connecting Cultures this week, we'll find out more about the efforts of those who are helping to bring the taste of the world to Hội An and bring Hội An to the world.
Although coming from Australia, this international award-winning Sri Lankan chef has spent most of his recent time living in Hội An. 2 years ago, Kirthi Hapugasdania, or Happy K for short, together with Chik Zim V, a local chef, founded the Hội An Culinary Event and organised Hội An International Food Festival for the first time.
We thought that we're going to go around the world and do some cooking shows and do some food promotions to showcase Vietnamese food. And we thought it's going to be too long, long process. Last year, we thought we'll bring chefs from around the world to Vietnam, not only to cook food, they can showcase their food in Vietnam, and also they can share our Vietnamese food to the world.
Together with Happy K in this journey is this small woman. She's a famous chef in Hội An who has been contributing to promoting Hội An Culinary's reputation on the world gastronomy scene for more than 20 years.
Cái món ăn có hai giá trị tinh thần và giá trị vật chất. Mà thường giá trị tinh thần thường là ít có người biết. Về để biết được thì cần nhiều thời gian, cần phải có một cái chiến lược sâu rộng. Thì bằng cách này cách khác, tôi cũng đã có một vài cái cách làm để người thực khách họ thực sự hiểu thêm về cái văn hóa này.
One of the ways that Happy K and Zim V have been implementing is to connect the world-class chefs to Hội An in Hội An International Food Festival. Coordinating with the World Association of Chef Societies for the past 2 years, the Hội An International Food Festival has brought together more than 20 famous world-class chefs to Vietnam, not only to introduce the diversity of the world taste to the local people, but also bring Vietnamese flavours to the world.
What I like very much, all the herbs you are using, because with these herbs you get a very, very special, I would call it flavor appearance, and this makes your dishes so special. The freshness of these products is great, and this will reflect actually a top quality in your final cooked product.
The development of local tourism with thousands of international visitors each day has created the diversity for food business as well as the dietary lifestyle here in Hoi An. That's why this is the perfect place for the world's food experts to gather in a food festival.
We all like our Malaysian cuisine, start with the spicy stuff. This is the special national dish that everybody likes. You ask anybody, they will know, they will eat from probably breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, all year round, all day round. So I suppose this is nasi lemak.
The history of the dish is 1 year old, basically. When I came back with my wife from Hoi An, she said, "Oh, I miss the food." So then I went into the fridge, and whatever I found on fresh vegetables, I made a dish out of it. And this is the way the dish basically was developed. And so this morning when I went to the market, I saw the fresh vegetable again. So I decided to make as my signature dish, which I basically had created for my wife, which is based German, but with a lot of Vietnamese influence.
One of the special events of this year's Haiv is the moment when the president of the World Association of Chefs and Societies gave a certificate recognising Hoi An as a new gastronomy capital of Vietnam for local authorities. To achieve that reputation, it's partly thanks to those who are working on day by day to popularise Hoi An cuisine in particular and Vietnamese cuisine in general to international friends.
Hiện nay chúng ta biết là bánh mì, cơm gà của Hội An rất nổi tiếng ở Hà Nội, ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh, và nhiều cái món ăn Hội An cũng đã được nổi tiếng thông qua cái chuỗi nhà hàng của Hội An tại một số nước như nhà hàng của chị Vi tại Úc, nhà hàng của chị Vi tại châu Âu và một số cái nhà hàng khác nữa. Thì thông qua đó sẽ góp phần quảng bá cái ẩm thực Hội An ra bên ngoài và cũng qua đó là giới thiệu cái nền ẩm thực Việt Nam hết sức phong phú, đa dạng.
Standing in the middle of Hoi An space, seeing the golden hands of many famous world-class chefs serving typical dishes from different cuisines around the world will make you feel like in an artistic party with taste and eyes. This is a wonderful opportunity for local and international food lovers to discover and taste the world without going anywhere else.
And that also wraps up this edition of Culture Mosaic. If you would like to provide any feedback or comment on anything you've seen here on our show, please feel free to write to us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn and make sure to include both your name and address. You can also log on to our website at vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at vtv4go for more of our programs. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Until then, goodbye for now.